Denne våren skal 17 kulturhus i Norge fylles opp med publikum som vil se en dame som påstår at hun kan snakke med de døde. Blir vi lurt? Vil vi lures? Eller er det sånn at Lisa Williams har en gave som skeptikerne bare ikke forstår? Welcome, Lisa Williams.
Thank you.
When you connect with spirits, how does that happen? Do you see them? Do you hear them?
I have all of that. So I see them, I hear them, I feel them, I smell. I can taste their favorite things. And then that extra sense where you just know that someone's around. So I tend to use all my senses.
Okay. I've read somewhere that you connected with both Elvis and Princess Diana on stage. How does that happen?
Oh, yeah. I've never been starstruck, but when you turn around and I go, it's Princess Diana, that I was like, wow. So Princess Diana was because there was someone in the audience that was her friend.
Okay, so you need a connection?
I do need a connection. Mm-hmm. And then Elvis, I was actually staying in his bedroom in Vegas, and I was sleeping on the Elvis bed with mirrors on the ceiling. It's exactly how Elvis used to have it.
Okay, you. I hope you understand that I have to ask you now. Was he in bed with you, or was he just in the room?
He was just in the room. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning going, oh, Elvis is still in the building, you know, so it was crazy.
But what do they tell you? What did Elvis want to talk about?
Well, Elvis was just standing there. I mean, he really didn't say a great deal. I'm like, and I think it shocked me, actually. I think it was more of a shock. And he just went, hello, you're in my bed. And then he went.
But what about Princess Diana?
Princess Diana had messages to give to her friend. So that was very personal. Mm-hmm. And Michael Jackson was also a personal friend of someone else I knew who had passed, who was a friend of mine, actually, who was passing away. And she came, you know, in the hospital bed when she was there. Michael came in and I was like, wow, I've got Michael Jackson. And he wanted to deliver a message to my friend Elaine, mm-hmm. just to say it was okay.
But how is it, out of billions of deceased, that it's Elvis and Princess Diana that reaches out to you?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's because, I've had Princess Diana 3 or 4 times because I've known people who have had an association with her. Mm-hmm. And so maybe she feels comfortable with me. I don't know. But Elvis was quite an interesting one.
Lisa, I feel like we need to see you in action. We're going to watch a clip from a recent tour that you did in Australia, mm-hmm. and we're going to bring in a skeptic.
Okay.
He really thinks the world of you, okay? Now, were you not there at the funeral?
Yes, I was.
Who wasn't there at the funeral then? There's someone that wasn't there at the funeral?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, because he keeps acknowledging the fact that someone wasn't there at the funeral that should have been there, and it doesn't matter, okay? Now, has your mum crossed?
No.
All right, in that case, he's saying he wants...
hang on. I don't... Oh, I need more information about the mother.
Okay, let me explain this. He actually wants to acknowledge your mum, all right? But it's like, I want to say hi to mum. That's what he was acknowledging here.
Velkommen, Marit Simonsen. Du skeptiker. When you see this clip, what's your analysis of what's going on here?
Well, to me, it's quite clear that this is a classic illusionist magician's trick called cold reading.
Cold reading?
Cold reading.
Okay.
In Norwegian, we could call it tankefisking.
Mm-hmm. Thought fishing. Norwegian word. Yeah.
So basically, you sort of prime someone. You ask them, "Are you open for this?" And then you sort of that makes them turn their brain on, and they start looking for the connections that you're going to offer them. Mm-hmm. And then you come up with some general statements that sound specific, but they're really quite general because humans are humans, and we're all quite alike.
Like what? Like what general assumptions?
Well, like if you go to a psychic, they'll often say things like, so you're quite social, but sometimes you like to be more alone. Mm-hmm. I mean, who doesn't connect with that?
Mm-hmm. Like a horoscope or something?
Yeah, sort of like a horoscope. Mm-hmm. It's exactly the same technique. And then you sort of twist all your statements afterwards, like the example that we just saw here, where you ask questions, and then if something doesn't fit afterwards, you might say, well, this will make sense to you later, or... at least this is what I'm hearing. You'll see if you understand it later.
Tankefisking, thought fishing, cold reading. Are you just a very clever cold reader, Lisa?
I wish I was, because it made my job so much easier. I've heard it before, and to validate what you're saying, there are those psychics out there and mediums out there that do that, and I've actually seen it myself, and I'm horrified because, quite honestly, when you do have someone who has lost someone and they are absolutely in that space of desperation, they'll hold on to anything. And I really don't like it, because I won't read for anybody who has had an immediate passing. I make sure that they've had a period of time.
So what you're saying is that there's bad mediums and there's good mediums?
I think there are.
How do you separate them, though?
Well, this is it. How do you? It's all trial and error. And I absolutely think that it is all down to experience and the experience that they've had and how long they have been doing it, and really their compassion. Not everybody is compassionate.
But do you have an absolute limit to what you will tell people, like give bad news? Is there a limit there?
No, I won't. And the reason why I won't is because I have actually said to somebody, the person who's going to get who's waiting for the heart transplant is going to pass. I didn't know it was the person sitting in front of me. But what happened 6 months later is her daughter came along with a letter for me saying, thank you for telling me everything, because if you hadn't have told me this, I wouldn't have been able to say my goodbyes to my daughter, my husband and my friends.
So you're sort of telling people stuff that they need to hear. What's the problem with that, Marit, if they feel that it's comforting?
Well, I think that the problem is if you can't separate the real from the fake, then you can never really be sure that you're getting the real experience. And then if I lose somebody and I have an experience with you, I might be replacing my really true memories with these people with something that might be fake.
And I absolutely agree with you. But the problem is then we do have people who are cynical. There's a skeptic and there's a cynic, okay? And there's two elements. The cynic is like, I'm shut down. Nothing. The skeptic is open-minded. And I absolutely agree with you where, you can be having those memories replaced, but you can't take away from your factual memories that you actually experienced.
Well, that depends on sort of how you experience it. I mean, the fact is that whenever you remember something, you sort of change your memories of the person that you are trying to connect with. So I would say that it's really important that these experiences are genuine. And I'm not sure that, for example, you... that we can actually separate your work from what a good magician can do.
Well, you know what? I've seen a magician in action, and I can't do what they do. So, yeah.
This may be hard for you to believe, Lisa. I read on your web page that you said that skeptics need to be open to you as you are to them. And Marit, you actually used to believe in this stuff. You actually thought that you were a psychic yourself.
Well, I used to love all kinds of supernatural things, and it was just so fascinating to me. And I used to watch documentaries about children who claimed they had earlier lives and stuff like that.
So what happened?
Well, I started reading about psychology. I read a book about paranormal phenomena by Richard Wiseman, who's a psychologist, where he explains all the psychological effects that create these feelings in us. And to me, it's just so convincing, and it doesn't break any natural laws. It doesn't fight with anything that we already know about nature, and it's extremely fascinating.
So
and
the nature
so
is fascinating enough for you.
Yeah.
The scientific answers. Lisa, do you think you could convince Marit?
Well, I mean, if she's open to being convinced, that's the thing. And as far as I'm concerned, you have got that spiritual awareness. You have got you're the person that will look at the phone and know exactly who's ringing it before.
Well, when that happens, I also know that a lot of times when I think about someone, they don't call me. So
right, okay.
I just sort of keep track, and then the statistics add up to this is just a coincidence.
Absolutely. And, I will be honest with you, I'm dating a guy who is absolutely skeptical. And what he'll say is, I believe in you, but the subject, I don't quite believe in and get my head around.
Sounds like a tiring relationship, Lisa.
No, I just ignore him. I'm like, oh, whatever. But I understand that not everybody is in the same space. And coming back to your comment, I have a belief, and a lot of people also believe in what I do. So I don't believe that the skeptics should force their opinions on other people. Like, I don't push my opinion on anyone else.
Well, I don't really think that I push my opinion on anyone. I just want people to have enough information. So they should look into sort of what would separate a real psychic from a non-real psychic.
Absolutely.
And
And you
use
will
that
also be
information.
handing out flyers about cold reading before Lisa's shows, won't you?
In some cities, yes.
So you'll
Oh,
see her again,
absolutely.
probably. Are we alone here now, Lisa, at the table?
There's three of us and a camera
There's
crew.
no spirits?
No, I mean, it's funny because there's a female that stands there, but
There's a female here.
yeah, there's a female, and it was almost as though she was attached to you. It's like a grandmother, an older woman.
Statistics would prove
Of
you right.
course, of course.
Okay, so then I'll thank all of you for coming to Selskapet.